Good morning everyone and welcome back. Today is finally the day where I've actually got myself together to do this house tour video. So I've been wanting to do this for a little while now and several things have kept me from doing it. The main thing at the moment is that we are doing the bedroom. Redecorating the bedroom is taking so long, purely because I can never ever get in there. But yeah, today I'm going to be doing a little bit of a house tour for you. I'm going to show you around. Basically this is going to be more of a kind of before video. So I'm going to go through each room. I'm going to show you what we are currently kind of set up with and plans for the future. Most of the plans I'm hoping I can execute before Christmas, but there might be some that will carry over onto next year. So I'm not going to waffle too much. Let's get straight on with the tour. We're going to start downstairs as you come through the front door. Okay, so as you come through the front door, the first room that you get to is our little entrance hall. It's very, very small. It's not particularly practical, but I've got it as nicely as I can. Now definitely I have to thin out these coats because there's so many, but there is, if you look here, absolutely no kind of gap between the door and the wall, so they kind of stop it from opening fully all the way, which is a little bit annoying, but there's not really all that much that I can do about that. On the other side of the room currently we have this shoe rack, which again is a little too big for the space. Let me see if I can pull this out without breaking it. There we go. So the space is this deep, and when I first moved in here I had this space as the coat area because then the coats could come away from the wall a little bit, but as the family have grown and the coat collection has grown, that's just not a big enough space anymore, so we decided to use it for shoes instead. But as you can see, if I do a little demo, a pair of shoes is wider than this and certainly longer than this. So this space here, you know, it's kind of impractical. You can't really hang coats in here, you can't really put shoes here either, so this unit that I've got just has to kind of overhang here at the moment. I would like to try and put some kind of shelves, like a stack of shelves here, coming out and kind of wrapping around this door frame, so they'll come out this far, which should be wide enough for most pairs of shoes. My husband's are a little wider, they'll have to overhang a little bit, but to have actual shelves here, a bit more permanent, will look a lot better than the current rack that I've got in here. Also in this space we have this cupboard, which is our meter cupboard, so it's not very exciting, but we also have rare used tools in here, and we have a couple of shelves up the top that I would like to dedicate solely to gardening bits. You can see my gardening bag there, and there's a few other power tools and stuff in here that I need to clear out. And then recently my husband built a couple of shelves here. As you can see, I've got all my plant food on those, so we'd like to get all that to be garden stuff as well. And on the inside of the door I just have my kneeling pad for the garden hung up. So I'd like to organise that into like a little kind of gardening bits cupboard. Obviously the big tools are going to have to stay out in the shed, but it would be nice to have somewhere to put the small things. Let's move this back. Oh, I've broke it. There we go. Fortunately this just slots together, so if you pull it apart it doesn't actually. There we go. So yeah, you can see if you look at the bottom that it sticks out a little bit, but it's not enough to affect sort of walking through or anything like that. So as you walk through from the entrance hall you come to the lounge. The first thing you see as you come in is George in his little cage here. Hello George. He's a bit cold this morning and his cage needs cleaning up. Do excuse the dirty cage. But the first thing you see is this unit here. Now this unit doesn't get used very much because it's kind of really narrow to come through here, and it's very difficult to open these doors because we've got furniture in the way. So one of the main plans for this room is this unit will be moving. I've got a little corner unit that will go in the corner here, and it will house the what do you call it, modem and TV box, because they're on very short cables which come out of the wall just down there behind George, so they have to stay in this corner. But they'll be on a little shelf which will open up the radiator, which I'm going to have to build a cabinet for the radiator because it's much taller than the standard radiator for some reason. And then George will kind of slot a little bit more this way so that it's not, because at the moment he's kind of blocking the window, it's hard to draw the curtains. So he will slot more over here. So the main living room, I'm trying not to show you the dining room because that's going to be its own separate video, because it's going to be its own separate project. But the living room, this bit of the living room I'm quite happy with as it is. Obviously that unit will no longer be there, there'll be a cabinet and George. I would like to put some lights above these pictures, some wall lights that shine down so that they are more illuminated. And my husband's table here, all his stuff, I tidied it up this morning so I could do this video, but all his stuff is in this cupboard, and as you can see it's trying to escape, so I need to thin out his stuff a little bit. So if I swing you around slowly so you don't get dizzy. On this side of the lounge I have my fireplace and bookshelf area. Now the plan for this originally was for this to be kind of built in. So it's only halfway done at the moment. Basically what I'm going to have is, oh excuse the treadmill, I'm trying to be a bit more healthier. So the plan is that this is going to be all up on a plinth, and it's going to be kind of put together so it looks like it's all one big part. The issue that I'm having at the moment is there is a plug socket behind this basket. I don't know if you can see. There we go. So I've had to cut out a chunk of the back of the bookcase to house the plug socket. But when I put everything up on a plinth, we're talking about maybe 15-20 centimetres raised from the ground, that socket's going to be a problem. So I've got to figure out what I'm going to do with that socket before I can do anything else. But once it's all built in, the wires from the TV will be hidden. The wires that go behind, there's an extension lead that goes behind to power the fire. So those wires will be hidden as well. Probably going to run them underneath the plinth so that they are hidden. I hate to see wires. So that's one of the main things I want to do. And then at the top where we currently have our games, I will build it up to the ceiling so that it looks floor to ceiling. And then on the uprights there I will have some kind of cladding, because I have some LED light strips that I want to put around the fronts, but I don't want to be able to see them, so those little bits of cladding will overhang into the bookcase and hide those lights, but the shelves will be illuminated. I think that will look really, really nice. So that's the main plan for in here. I don't know if that's going to get done this year. I might push it to next, because I've got a few big jobs that I really need to do in the rest of the house, and this is okay for now, it's fine. So yeah, that's going to be all built in eventually and looking lovely. This is the candle bridge I got when I was up at my sister's. Isn't it gorgeous? I really, really love that. So yeah, obviously this wall here will be repainted when that time comes as well. I've just been leaving it because there's no point in repainting it until I've built all this in and sealed it in, and then I can get busy with the paint. So that's the lounge as it currently is. I do have another home in mind for this unit, but it's over in the dining room, which, like I say, is a separate project. So I will explain that when I'm doing the walkthrough for that video. Like I say, it's going to be a separate video. It might be nice to smooth the ceiling as well. We currently have this horrible Artex. And I'm thinking of getting a plasterer to come and skim over it because when they tested the ceilings, when they did the refit, they found asbestos. So I'm thinking if we can get it skimmed over rather than removing it, that would be better. But that might be nice to have that nice and smooth as well. And obviously at Christmas time, my tree will be going over in this corner. I'll have to figure out the modem and the skybox router, skybox, whatever you want to call it, because I do want the tree in that corner. Normally I have it here, but obviously now that we've got the bookcases, I can't do that. So yeah, I'm going to have to figure out how I'll probably just put the router in the skybox under the tree, like hidden behind something, and just put the unit somewhere else for the time being. But yeah, that is the lounge. Let's go through and talk about the kitchen. Okay, so as you come through from the lounge and dining room, you find your way to the back of the house and into the kitchen. This kitchen was recently refurbished. The new kitchen was put in about 15 months ago, the beginning of 2023, and it's doing pretty well. The hardware is holding on all right, but we are having some issues with the paintwork and the plaster. So plans for in this room, as you can see, it is quite a small, narrow galley kitchen. So we do have to be very careful with our space and what we're doing with it. So certainly in here, the plan is to maximise the storage that we have and minimise the stuff that we have. But on top of that, we need to redecorate in here. Let me show you the issues that we're having. So as you can see here, where the, well, A, it's dirty, I don't know what that is, but where the contractors did not prime the plaster and did not allow it to dry properly before they painted, where they have caulked is now pulling away, the paint is pulling away from the wall. It's an issue all around the kitchen, not just around the door, as you can see. So we were offered a couple of options to deal with this. Either our landlord would have the contractor come back and redo it, or they would supply us with everything that we needed to do it ourselves. So we have chosen to do it ourselves this time because we then have the luxury of time to make sure that everything dries out properly and that everything is done to a decent standard in our own time without the intrusion. So we'll be taking all of the paint off of the walls. It should just pick off because, like I say, they did not prime the plaster, and certainly in some places it already is picking off by itself. So that shouldn't be too much of an issue. Then we will be priming the walls properly, and then we will be redecorating in here. It will stay mainly white on the back wall where the cabinets are, but on this wall here I think we will introduce a little bit of colour, just because it's very, very white in here. It's very sterile, it's not very comfy, cosy home. It is, you know, kind of like a dentist waiting room kind of a feel in here. Also, I would like to put some open shelving up here for things such as the teapot, the scales, things like that that we use now and then, but not that often, but are nice to look at. Obviously I'll be replacing the plastic scales with something a bit more fancy. But yeah, they will be going on, I think, maybe 2 shelves here. I would like for the shelves to be kind of tying into this wood colour up here. But there, this clock will be going. This is a clock that we used to have in here years ago, and we just didn't change it when I did the kitchen. I don't like it anymore, I'm bored of it. I want something different. I'm thinking a large wall clock on this wall instead, because it's very bare and very plain. And then the open shelves will be going on over here. Otherwise, it's going to be very much a case of minimising the amount of stuff that we have in the cupboards. I've already begun trying to minimise the cupboards and reorganise them. I'm having a little bit of an issue. I've got a few too many tea towels, but too many is better than not enough. Got some mealworms for the birds there and my cleaning cloths and spare long life milk in here. But I'm planning on reducing all the cupboards down so they're nice and clear and organised and have only the things that we need in them. This next one is the one I'm working on, clearing all the stuff out. I'm going down to the absolute bare minimum of cleaning products, and I will be doing a video about that because I'm just using stuff up right now. And then on the bottom will be spare sponges and things like that. But on the top will be hopefully all of my cleaning supplies for the whole house in caddies. So I'll have a caddy for downstairs, a caddy for the toilet and bathroom, and a caddy for kind of just general cleaning around the place. But you get that kind of idea is going to be going on throughout the entire kitchen. So we are keeping just the stuff we need, just the stuff that we use regularly. Another change in here will be the oven. I've mentioned this in videos before. We have chosen an oven. We just need to go and actually get it. This one is on its last legs. It's doing well, it's done a good job, but we've lost a knob there, so we can't use this hob. You know, the hobs themselves are getting kind of scratched and old now, and I worry how much longer they're going to last. But also we want a oven with a separate grill so we can do cheese on toast and stuff. This oven is a little bit awkward, especially when it comes to Sunday roast, because we need to do the Yorkshire puddings, and you can't open the oven once you've got the Yorkshire puddings in until they are done. So to have that separate oven / grill would be really, really good, and we're going to go with a double one. So this will be going and be getting replaced, and I would also like to replace the bins just because these are too bright, too bold. I don't like them, and they're not big enough. And the last thing I want to be doing in here is popping a nice radiator cabinet over here, so I have a tiny little bit of shelf space for things such as my wax melt burner and maybe a photograph or two, just to look nice and cover up. I don't like the look of radiators, they're ugly, horrible things. So that's the last thing that I'll be doing in here. Hopefully this will be happening, well, should all be happening within the next year, to get it all done by Christmas. So that is the plan for the kitchen. Ooh, one more thing I would like to do, get rid of the fryer. This is going to be a battle of wills with me and my husband, but this thing is hideous and it just makes the kitchen all greasy and it's horrible to clean. Yeah, I'm going to be trying to get rid of that as well. So there we go. This is our kitchen and our plans for it. Okay, so as you come off of the landing, you then come into the bathroom. So, to show you the bathroom again, it got refitted at the beginning of last year, so at the beginning of 2023, and although I much prefer it to what we had before, we had I think 3 or 4 tiles up like this, and then we had like a wooden divide and then painted wall up here, which was really, really bad for the shower because obviously the water got into the plaster. So I do prefer the full height tiles, but unfortunately we did not get a choice of the grout. I never in a million years would have picked a dark grout. I don't mind how it looks, like I'm not angry about it, but I feel like this dark grout is going to go out of fashion really quickly, and it's going to look dated in like a year, maybe two, and we can't really do anything to change that without having to retile it ourselves, which is something that I'm not really willing to do. This is a rental property, and although I want to make changes, things like tiling a whole room are certainly not on my kind of radar for things that I want to do personally. So we're kind of stuck with the dark grout subway tile, which again doesn't look bad. I don't think it looks bad at all. It's nice and easy to clean. I love that. But I feel like this is going to look dated really, really soon. So the shower we currently have, oops, I moved over to the side, 1 second. I moved it over to clean the shower door before I filmed this tour. And I thought to move it back. Okay, so the shower, so we have like a rainfall shower, which has a separate shower hose, which tends to end up down here because I use it to wash out the bath when I'm cleaning in here, and I can't reach that from the floor. You have to be in the shower cubicle to reach that. So that ends up there, so it's kind of just where it lives. So that's the bath and shower area. Nothing I'd really change about this. We keep the squeegee there so that we can, I say we, so that I can clean the shower door because no one else does it. And then we have this storage rack here. The plan with the storage rack was to have just these bottles on it. So 1 shampoo, 1 conditioner, 1 body wash, and 1 bath soak, and the jug, although we don't really use the jug anymore now that we've got this separate head. But of course, family life, everyone wants their own shampoo, everyone wants their own particular body wash, so they've ended up with extra bits and bobs on there, and extra shampoo down here. So a little bit annoying. I would prefer to have maybe just like a little, you know, like, I don't know, something like a little tray with a candle or something on here. But you know, life is life. We end up with great big bottles of shampoo and conditioner because we just, family of 5, we get through so much shampoo and conditioner. I just buy the huge ones off Amazon. And over here we have the sink area and the mirror. So I love this mirror, I really do, but I would really like to have one that has some sort of a light in it. So it might be that will get changed to a lit mirror instead, or at least a backlit mirror for that nice little bit of kind of ambient lighting. And the sink here, not a lot I'd change about the sink. There's not a lot you can really do with the sink. I kind of wish they'd taken the tiles down there. This is weird. So we have like painted wall here, a little bit of tile behind the sink there in the splash zone, and then we go back to painted wall here, and it looks really, really strange. I don't know why, probably just to save money, but I would have taken the tile all the way down just because it looks strange to have that little strip there. But plans for this area, I want to get rid of this cupboard here, and I want to have someone build in a cabinet that goes up to this line and put in like a mini, just like a surround, you know, like a worktop surround, so that we can have like toothbrushes and stuff on the side here, and like soap and stuff, so we don't have to have things like on the sink. So I'd like to have a built-in kind of cabinet here with like a mini worktop there. That saves all this dead space at the side, which I'm currently using for like scales and cleaning products. They could go into the cupboard underneath. And then this kind of weird mid-height cupboard can totally go. And this, I think I would ask to be secured, because obviously it won't be able to open that way once we've got a unit there. So that to be secured would be nice too. I don't think it's that difficult. Probably they will just run silicone, clear silicone either side, and that will secure that in and stop it from opening. I'm not sure about a radiator cabinet in here. I would like one because I really don't like how radiators look. They're so horrible and they gather so much dust, especially down in here. I mean, you can see I cleaned this not that long ago and already it's full of dust in there. So a cabinet just to protect that from dust, and to have like an extra place to put like maybe a nice little reed diffuser, a little LED candle, that kind of thing would be nice on there. The wall, again, the same as the kitchen. I would like for the wall to be redecorated, maybe a different colour, not a very bold colour, just an off-white, just because the bright white is very, very stark in here. And then maybe a couple of little open kind of floating shelves in here, just to pop some bits and bobs on, like skincare and stuff like that, kind of more of an aesthetic-y thing here. Maybe like, if I try and back up a little bit, maybe like a stack of 2 or 3 shelves, and then some sort of artwork here would be really, really nice. I also need to change out this cord pull. It's nothing major, but you can see the discoloration on that is kind of gross. So a new cord pull and a little cute weight at the bottom would be nice too. So that's plans for the bathroom. So the next room on our little tour will be the toilet. Okay, so last room on the tour for today is the toilet. It's very quiet in here. We've turned this fan off because it's filling with condensation and leaking. Sorry if there's an echo in here. I'm just shutting the door so I'm not waking everybody up. So in here, as you can see, it's a very small room. It's literally just the toilet. There's no sink in here. There's no cupboards in here or anything like that. It's just the toilet, a little storage unit, and a sanitary bin. So what I'd like to do in here, again, is to take the colour from bright white into a kind of off-white, mushroom perhaps kind of colour. I would like to, as much as I love this thing, and I really do, I would like to get some sort of storage over the toilet. I was looking at those storage units, but I don't really want the legs. I think they're going to intrude with the cupboard and the bin. So maybe a couple of open floating shelves here, just to put the loo rolls on, an air freshener, that kind of thing in here. And unfortunately, lovely shearing is going to have to go. Obviously I need to repair the walls. See, this is what we're talking about when we were saying they didn't let the plaster dry. The second you come near it with anything, the plaster completely blows off. So that needs to be repaired as well. And then I would like to replace the cabinet with something just a little bit bigger. We did have a bigger unit in here, but it had like metal legs and it was starting to rust. So my husband got this one, but we didn't realise like kind of how narrow and small the drawers were. So something a little bit bigger or maybe a little bit taller to fill that space. We just use this for keeping kind of sanitary towels and things. It's not glamorous, but it is absolutely essential in the toilet. The bin, again, it's going to have to stay. There's not a lot we can do about that, but maybe I can create some kind of surround so it's not so obviously just like a bin. And aside from that, maybe a little bit of kind of artwork on the sidewall would be good too. But that's it. Plans for the bathroom. Okay guys, so that's it. Our little house tour 2024. You might have noticed a couple of rooms not on that tour. One being the bedroom. I don't know why it's a thumbs up. One being the bedroom and one being the dining room. These are going to be their own separate independent videos because I have projects currently going on in both. So stay tuned for those. They're going to be coming up hopefully really soon, but it's all going to depend on how much I can get done in those places and when I can get it done. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the house tour. I'm going to do a garden version in a few weeks time, probably when we get back off holiday, just because that's when everything will be really blooming and going for it. I'll be doing garden tours of the front and back garden. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed that video and I will see you again in the next one. Bye bye.